Welcome back. This is Words of Wisdom today. It's been a minute. What, about 2 weeks since I've been on here? And today we are going to talk about when things don't go as planned. So, I'm a planner, and I like to think that I plan things in a way where I set myself up to be successful. But that's not always true. Sometimes I have really big ideas and I don't think about what necessarily I need to get it all done. Like, I'll just try to do it all on my own. And recently I just had this whole idea about how I was going to be able to do something that for the 2 other times that I was in a similar situation, I was not able to do it. And it's not something that I should necessarily fault myself for. But again, because I'm in the middle of kind of going through something, I think that it's important for me to get my answer and my reassurance from the Lord before sharing, so I can truly share in a way that will be helpful to people. Like, I don't necessarily like to talk about things when I'm in the middle of it unless I feel like God is saying hey, share your testimony before, you know, everything's said and done. Where in this situation, I don't really feel like that's what he's sharing with me. But that being said, I was gone because I had my 3rd child and she came early. She was a little over 2 weeks early. So in my mind, I knew she was coming early and I was like, oh, it'll be probably 2 weeks, right at 2 weeks before the due date. And that is not how at all it went down. But thankfully, everyone's healthy and we're doing good and we're getting settled. But when I tell you, when she came, I had a whole list of things that I was going to do during that week, and I was going to take the next week off because I was just convinced that I knew what had no idea. I knew she would be early, but I got my weeks wrong. So, what do you do? What do you do when you have something all planned out and it doesn't work out that way? I'm gonna be honest with you, it took me, not that I'm upset about anything, I'm thankful that I was able to give birth to a healthy baby and that we're both doing okay. Obviously, my body needs to heal and it's going to take some time to heal itself and get back to, I don't want to say get back to anything, because as a mom, not that my body never feels the same, but it takes a while for you to understand what your new normal is. But when things don't go as planned, like one good example of this, so part of like my birth story is that like um I had to have an emergency C-section with my son. Um, and this time around, I wanted to be able to have another vaginal birth, and I was able to do that, but it didn't look like how I thought it would look. And thinking about it, I did have a dream about um, me giving birth to my daughter. And in the dream, I was just focused on the fact that, like, it seemed like it happened quickly. Whereas thinking back now, I experienced like the labor pains and everything while I was seated. And in my mind, I wanted to be able to like move around. So I didn't want to get an epidural. So I would be able to like um, use my legs and use different positions to get comfortable during the contractions. And when I went to the hospital, the doctor was like, no, we got to keep you hooked up to the monitor. And that um, basically, because I was a good candidate for VBAC, but because of like other health issues, they needed to make sure that the baby was monitored and I was not able to get up and move around during my contractions. And I am historically a back laborer. That was no different this time. And I mean, it was upsetting that I wasn't able to move around, but the labor was so quick. And the nurse that was with me was so helpful in like just moving the bed into positions that would help me be more comfortable and also help like make space for the baby to like come down. So it was a very interesting and intense time, but thinking back in my dream, I was sitting the entire time, and I feel like maybe that was like a little clue for me that I didn't really think about. But um yeah, things don't always go as planned, but we have to sometimes, like with these things, like you just have to accept that you know how things happen the way that they happen, and be thankful for like the things that maybe you plan that did go as planned. And maybe sometimes it's okay if like what you had planned didn't go, because you never know, like um yeah, you just never know. You never know what can happen if you get things the way that you want them, or if it'll even be like if it will even be what you wanted when you get what you thought you wanted, if that makes sense. Like, I guess when it comes to like relationships, there have been like people that I was hoping to have relationships with that I'm thankful I don't have like romantic or friendships with certain people now. And I think like we just have to really take things as a blessing in disguise that we may not understand um, these different reasons why things aren't happening in our lives that maybe we have wanted to happen. Um, but I will say that, like, one important thing is if you're really struggling with something, like, really sit down and get in your word and send a prayer to God and just ask him, like, what what is the purpose in you going through this hardship, or um not being able to have the things that it is that you imagined you wanted for yourself, and what what is it that you're missing that maybe is keeping you from getting to that next step. Like, there are a bunch of things in my life right now that I'm like, oh, I wish I had these things. But I think in this season, God is really just preparing me for whatever it is that He has for me. And I think in those same ways, like, sometimes maybe we really want things like the way that we imagine them, but God sometimes has something like way bigger and better for you than what you can imagine, right? Like, me think of like some examples of, like, when people will say like they started a business and they really just wanted to do a certain thing, but at the end of the day, like, their business boomed and it's like this huge thing now, instead of just being like this small seed that they planted. Like, it's more than double. So I always think of that when I'm disappointed that I didn't get a position that I applied to, or like if there's just something in my life that happened that I wanted it to be a different way. Like, I still give myself time to like grieve what it is that I planned or what I really wanted, right? But knowing that it really it really means something, and it really will serve a purpose, whether I understand it in this moment or not. But one day I'm going to understand why I had to go through the things that I went through. And maybe it's to help somebody. And I think like if me going through any of the hardships that I've gone through and any of the issues that I've had in my lifetime can help me be a better mother to my children, or for me to have like certain knowledge to be able to help my daughters as they get older and grow into the women that God wants them to be. Like, I'm thankful for every opportunity that I have to learn a lesson, and to be able to gain the wisdom to help them navigate their lives. Like, sometimes I just think about like how what I'm going through can help other people. And that really just helps me to like kind of get through whatever it is that I'm going through and not feel so down and out about it. Like, if I'm learning these lessons and breaking generational curses so other people in my lineage don't have to, like, I'm thankful that it's me, because I have everything that I need. I have the support that I need. I have like I have what I need to be able to get through this. And I'm just again thankful for the opportunity to speak on it and be here. So I'm gonna try to end this a little bit early. I'm going to read a few scriptures that I found that talk about plans, and we'll round it out after that. So Proverbs 16:1 says, "We can make our own plans, but the Lord gives the right answer." And all these are New Living Translation. Proverbs 16:3 says, "Commit your actions to the Lord and your plans will succeed." Proverbs 16:9 says, "We can make our plans, but the Lord determines our steps." And Proverbs 19:21 says, "You can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail." So truthfully, from all these, I really gleaned that obviously if we are making plans and consulting the Lord on what these plans are, like even if we are consulting him and have um gotten confirmation that the end goal is where we're supposed to be. Excuse me for smacking the mic again. It may still not take all the steps that we've planned out, and we still may end up at the exact same spot, at the exact same goal, meeting whatever it is that we felt like we're supposed to meet. But the way that we get places is determined by God. So in that same way where maybe you feel like you're not qualified for something and then you get that job anyway, that's because God wanted you to get that job regardless of what your qualifications are. And in that same way, like if we plan something and God has something better for us, he's going to give us something that may seem like it's not what we asked for, but it's better than what we were asking for. So I'll just say, remember, even though sometimes our plans don't go the way that we want them to, you are still exactly where you need to be and getting exactly what you need to get. And just try your best to be thankful and show gratitude for the things that you do get. Yeah. So until next time, please like, follow, subscribe, and I will try my best to get back onto my weekly posts. And thank you guys again for listening. All right. Have a blessed one, y'all.